Hi.
Hi, Frank.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to our pre-match press conference to preview our FA Cup tie with Crystal Palace, and we'll start off with Vinny from Sky, please.
Frank, to be fair, I don't think it was the only celebration injury last night, but how's the hand?
Yeah, it's all right. Bit swollen and a bit achy, but I'm not going to keep going on about it. It's done. And we've got 3 points, more important than the break.
Well,
the crack.
Well, you were breaking your hand. Did you notice Richarlison legging all the way around to the park end? And what do those kind of celebrations tell you about his spirit, the spirit within the squad?
Yeah, it was a big deal because I was aware of it at the time. Didn't follow his run quite, but I've seen it since, and I think spirit was a big thing in the evening. And when you see players that have come off the pitch, they never want to leave the pitch. Himself, Demarai Gray, was on the pitch. Whether this is legal or not, I think sometimes the passion of football overrides things. It was all in good faith. Subs at the end, people who didn't play the game, the togetherness of the group was really important. It's going to be a huge thing for us in the next 11 games. So really happy with that side of it.
What transformative effect can a moment like that have on a squad? In the context of, as well, you've had convincing wins over Brentford and Leeds at home, a performance against City that could have got a point. You bounced back after the defeat to Wolves with that performance last night. Yeah,
we've been good at Goodison, and maybe sometimes the edge has been taken off that with our away form, and I understand that. But even Wolves was a steady game. We probably deserved a draw out of it. One of those that you lose. Man City, we certainly deserve something from. So I can't complain about Goodison. I think we've approached it well. The fans and the players together have been really positive since I've been here, and I've loved that side of it. I can't complain with performance. We want more points, yes. You always want a couple more. Could we have got them? Probably yes, but we might not have won 3 points last night with different circumstances too. That's just a reality of football.
You mentioned the chairman's speech last night as well. Can you give us any extra detail as to what he said and what maybe particularly struck a chord with you, with the players?
Well, I've heard it before because the chairman in the time I've been here has been amazing with me and very personable, very warm. And the thing that jumps out at you straight away is how much he loves his football club. And he comes and sits week in, week out. And I know there have been some tough times at different times for different reasons. But the man genuinely loves the club, and he explained that to the players from his younger years of supporting Everton over the years, the good times and not so good times. But he really put that across to the players in a warm way, which I think was part of the teamwork that got that win yesterday. So it's important as a club that you joined up. It doesn't always happen, especially in those roles of chairman, etc. They can be a bit corporate. They're not here. And that's why this place has a real heart and soul.
The downside, obviously, was the potential 3-match ban for Allan. We understand you're appealing it. How hopeful are you that you can get that overturned?
Well, it's hard to say how hopeful are you. I mean, we had a really bad decision against us, which we got an apology for, and apologies don't mean points. And there was nothing from that other than, thanks very much, and move on. With this one, there's no need for an apology. I think it's just an understanding that it wasn't a decision that should have been changed to a red card. I think that's very clear from my end, and I think that was very much the feeling of the evening. People like Alan Shearer talking about it on the other side of it. People who enjoy watching football in this in this country and like the rules that we go by. There's question marks over VAR. I understand the human side. I don't want to bang the drum about that. It would just be nice if the fact that we lose Allan, which is crucial to us for 3 games in the Premier League going forward, is a big loss for us. So we don't need an apology. We'd just like to, with a rule, with hindsight, look at the decision. Was it enough to want a red card? For me, absolutely not. We'll wait and see.
At the stage where you feel that chat with Mike Riley was almost pointless, and the reason I asked that is, obviously, the VAR official didn't send the referee to the monitor when it came to that penalty shout, the handball against Manchester City. VAR official Stuart Atwell last night, he did send the referee to the monitor to determine that red card. But the same VAR official Stuart Atwell was operating on the Brighton-Liverpool game and didn't send the referee to the monitor for Sanchez's challenge on Diaz.
I don't think the conversation with Mike Riley is pointless. As long as we all get better, the process gets better. And there will be faults in it because we're human. I make mistakes as a manager. I did as a player. My players make mistakes. This is the world we live in. We're not going to get a faultless system. But when there's something like, for instance, when we played Newcastle 5-6 weeks ago, there's a really strong tackle from John Joe Shelby. It doesn't go to VAR for more than 5 seconds. And then in a tackle with Allan last night, which is a recovery tackle, it's a yellow card. We know that. It stops a counter-attack. They're yellow cards in that area of the pitch. It gets given. So it's a consistency. I'm very happy to have those conversations. I probably felt a bit angry last night in terms of that conversation with Mike Riley, but we have to have them to move forward. But the first thing in moving forward is for us sometimes to say, yeah, we got that wrong. Sometimes our emotions are wrong, but in the cold light of day, that's not a red card. And we don't want to lose Allan for 3 games, and now we're in their hands.
Have you given any explanation as to what they were seeing in that?
No.
On the positive, though, as well, obviously it's a win. It gives you a little bit of momentum going back to the FA Cup now, and after a week where the players have taken criticism and they had the high of last night at Goodison Park, you're now 90 minutes away from Wembley, albeit it's a massive challenge against a good Crystal Palace side.
Yeah, we're a real big challenge away from home. I watched Palace a lot. Watched them at Manchester City last week. Hugely talented squad. Thought recruited brilliantly in the summer. Really good players and strengthened their team at the core. Well coached. A lot of threats in their team. So yeah, we're aware of the task ahead of us, but it's a good task. It's an opportunity to get to Wembley. This club has a real history of playing at Wembley, FA Cup history. So the players have that opportunity in front of them.
Potentially the trigger to get the away form on track as well?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, potentially, yeah, I suppose so. It's something that we're not happy with. So any game, no matter what competition, is a game to put that right.
Thanks, Frank. All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vinny. We'll go to Alistair McGowan, BBC, please.
Just on that front, does the win last night change your approach to the game this weekend in terms of resting players or anything like that?
No, because I don't think the win, other than a good feeling, changes the story. Whether we would have won or lost last night or drawn with 10 men, I think we know that our real focus is on these 11 games in the league is huge for us. And we've got international break coming. So I had a version of a plan before what Palace might look like. I'm along the similar lines going into it. The result didn't sway me either way.
But does it, in terms of your focus for success in the FA Cup, does that win give you a bit more breathing space to sort of take the challenge on in the FA Cup rather than maybe concentrating on the league?
Again, I think there's too far to go. If I say yes to that, it might sound like overconfidence. Like 3 points with 11 games to go. Oh, we're fine. We're not. No matter what the result would have been last night. So it's nice. It's good for a feeling of confidence. It's good for the feeling in the stadium. The players are happier this morning than they were after Wolves, and that's nice to take into the next game. But we haven't found those levels of consistency all season, barring the really early games in the season, the players. So to find that for me is the next step for us. We have to find some consistency in performance, how we go to Palace, how we'll go to West Ham after the international break, and that's the most important thing, and not to think too much more than that.
Just wondered, like, going back to last night as well, how sort of important it was, or how you sort of harness that feeling that was in Goodison for the players. I know obviously you said that you're confident you can stay up, but that was actually something tangible that you can move forward with. So how do you harness that? How do you sort of keep that feeling for the players?
Yeah, it's not a nice thing for me to stand there and say I'm confident we'll start, because it means nothing. I agree with what you say. Things that are tangible are the spirit that we felt in the stadium. So it's a two-way thing. The fans are hugely behind us, but what they need in the game is they need to see things that I think they relate to, and I think we have to have a big understanding of that. So in terms of at times, is that an Anthony Gordon tackle in the first half? Most certainly. That's what this club's about. It's built on passion and a desire. And you felt the stadium as he makes that tackle. Is it built on sometimes in chasing someone down and putting pressure on them? Absolutely. Is it built sometimes on going and playing good balls from back to front that get us up the pitch? Yes, it is. So in the situation where we need to use all those positives and engage the fans in that way. In the longer term, do I want to change things in about how we actually play and how we feel? Yeah, for sure. But that's the next step. The step now is what we saw last night.
Just last of all, I just wondered, obviously you've sort of been manager at Derby and Chelsea as well, but in terms of that noise when that goal went in, how did that sort of rate in your career and the feeling in the stadium at that point?
Oh, really high. I had fortunate enough to have some big nights at Chelsea, European Champions League nights, Derby playoff semi-final at Leeds. Big nights that stick in your mind, and yesterday goes in there in terms of that in those top rankings because of the feeling. It doesn't because it doesn't mean anything yet, but in terms of what it meant last night, what it meant to staff sitting behind me on the bench, the lads are laughing at some of the video of the reactions. There were real reactions of people that care, and that's what this game is for people and reactions like that. So that was, it felt very good. I don't want to stick it right at the top of the list. It's not about that, but it was a special evening for us, and we must make good of it now. We must try and recreate them.
Thanks. Julia, please, from Radio Merseyside.
Hiya, Frank.
Hi.
Okay. We spoke last week about mental strength and about when decisions go against you or things go wrong, bouncing back. And it seemed last night when something did go against you, it galvanised the team. So what's changed this week and how did you make sure that could happen?
Well, they're the same group of lads, so it's not an easy one to answer. What's changed? Only players and people can change it. I spoke with the players last week. Seamus was big, really influential in the build-up to this game as captain. The chairman came and spoke to the players, so there was a good feeling going into the game. And sometimes maybe that was a bit of a difference for us in terms of last night. Talking doesn't win you football matches, but the reaction to the build-up in the week was a big one. I felt so. I didn't ever feel like the players weren't capable of showing that kind of resilience. I really feel it's within the group. There must be a reason why it's not quite been there in certain circumstances. So again, that's why hopefully last night can be a change for us. But we have to make it work. One night like that is nothing on its own.
When you joined, obviously the league situation was fairly clear, but what was discussed when you joined about going on a cup run, getting to Wembley, a potential trophy? Sort of how important is that?
It's important. It's important because I think the club has a big history. I'm a believer in momentum rather than focusing on one thing, one idea, which is the Premier League. Of course, it's a priority. This club wants to stay in the Premier League. It's an absolute priority. But they don't have to be two separate things. The club has a really rich history. I know it means a lot to the fans because they would have grown up on some of that history. A lot of the fans that are at my age and whatever. So it's very, very important, and we must approach it in that way.
Jordan Pickford was unwell for last night's game. Begovic, I think you said you made the decision the day before, so he didn't have much time to sort of realise he was playing and get into it. So I just wondered your thoughts on his performance. He seemed calm, he seemed confident. And how difficult is that when you're a number two, particularly behind Jordan Pickford, and you wait for your chance?
Well, it's one of the most difficult positions in the squad is a number two goalkeeper, and particularly when you're Asmir and you have the qualities he has. He's a number one in my opinion. But the way he prepares and the way he trains and the way he carries himself and is an experienced member of the squad means that he's always ready. Absolutely always ready. There's no doubt about that from how he is every day. And yeah, he exuded calm, collected balls, came and made catches, and was really good for us. And I'm very fortunate to have the group of goalkeepers we have at this club. Not just them, the whole group of goalkeepers is strong, brilliantly coached by Allan Kelly as well. So yeah, that's a strong part of the squad.
How are you for injuries, illnesses going around? How are you looking?
Yeah, well, I think you know the players that are cup tired. So Donny's still not well, but he's cup tired anyway. Jordan won't be fit for the game. And in terms of injuries, it's a bit more of an assessment probably of how the players were. It's a really quick turnaround. We haven't been helped by the time end of the game on 12:30. I think the broadcasters picked the big boys to play as they see it, the big numbers later on in the afternoon when it would have been better for us, but we have to dig in and handle that. And so we'll sort of assess the players over the next 24 hours, the rest of the squad. Other than that, it's as is.
Good luck for the weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julian. Go to Carl Martin, please, at the Press Association.
Hi, Frank. I'm just wondering if it's possible to quantify what difference that result made to the dressing room in terms of, what, for instance, what does this morning look like compared to Monday morning?
Well, it is important in football not to get too high and too low, but at the same time, when you feel a night like last night, it's important that you take the benefits from it, which is an understanding of what winning feels like. And here this season, we haven't won enough games, so we haven't had that feeling. In fact, there's been a losing feeling far too much from the early part of the season. So we have to understand something we have to get over. And so the winning feeling last night and the effort more than anything and togetherness that goes into that is an important thing to take in and to move forward with. And I don't want to lean on it too much because since I've been here, we've had it, but we haven't backed it up in my short time here. I had a couple of really good wins, some good performances that we haven't really backed up. So now the challenge is to back it up. Thank you.
Thanks, Carl. Are there any further questions in the open section, either on Zoom or in the room? Please raise your hand now. No? Okay, we'll move to the newspapers.